Hey, what's up guys, EagleRider94 back with another action figure review. Today we're looking at the Bandai Tamashii Nations SH Figuarts Dragon Ball Piccolo Daimaoh, or as we all know him as King Piccolo. Hopefully I said that right. Daimaoh. Apparently it stands for demon, so the Demon King Piccolo. We got the seal of authenticity down below, this side of the box, and the other side showing some pictures, and in the back side showing some more pictures of the figure. And here we have King Piccolo out of the box, and I'm definitely excited for this release. Happy to see Bandai Tamashii going ahead and giving us characters like this. Demon King Piccolo from Dragon Ball, expanding the Dragon Ball line beyond just Goku and Bulma and Roshi, that we're getting villains now, and hopefully it just keeps going and going because there's plenty of more Dragon Ball characters to for them to make. And a lot that I want to see. So I'm happy to see King Piccolo make its way into the line, and he's looking really good. People were asking about his size. Is he going to be to scale? He definitely is very, very tall. So no issue there. They really do pay attention to the accuracy for the most part when it comes to their Dragon Ball line, and this is my favorite line to collect right now, so definitely am happy to see them producing some heat for the past couple years. Alright, and here we have our Demon King Piccolo out of the package, and I'm definitely happy to see Bandai Tamashii making a King Piccolo and just expanding on the Dragon Ball universe and continuing on the Dragon Ball series in SH Figuarts, as well as bringing out some nice Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Z figures. Hopefully we will see GT in the future. At least it's something I would like to see them make, even though it's not canon. I'm fine, but definitely am happy to see this. It looks great. He's to scale. He's big. A lot of people were asking about his height. Was he big or short? Was he in scale? Definitely is in scale. Speaking of that size, we're going to measure it right now and just see how tall he is. He's looking to be around the 8-inch mark. So definitely a good height there. We're definitely going to compare him next to some other figures just to get a sense of that scale. But right out of the package, he comes packed with a pair of fists and his normal face, which is like a little smirk on there, and nothing too crazy in terms of expressions. But he does come with some accessories, some hands, and some heads too. So he comes packed in with some nice stuff. This is a web exclusive, so he's going to run a little bit higher than a normal release. But either way, he does get the Bluefin distributed release, which lowers that price down. You don't really have to get the Japanese release if you don't want to spend that extra cash on that. Also, if you guys are interested in picking up the US release, there is a link down below to Big Bad Toy Store where you guys can check it out and pick one up for yourself if you haven't done so already. So this is the head that was just on his body right now, just a little closer shot at that. And one thing I do like about these heads is that they thought about this. You can actually articulate the antennas and move it up like this. So if he's, shooting a ki blast or some sort of energy effect, you can have as make it look like the wind is blowing his antennas back. So that's cool, and you can move it to the side too if you want. So you can move it around, and that goes for every head that he comes with. So it's nice, very good thinking there that you can move that around, because I don't think the Piccolo release came with that. The regular Piccolo from Dragon Ball Z, which was I think their first release ever. So that's a little upgrade there. Here we have another head with a bit more expression. We have the teeth showing he's very angry. Here we got the veins popping out the head. And again, the antennas do move around. So that's cool. Next to the one I was just holding. There it is. So that looks good. And we get two more heads. This one's even more angry. Or he could look shocked. This looks like the head that you would put on if you were to have Goku blast through his chest like he did in the anime there. But you see the eyes. We have the red veins or the red lines on the eyes, and then the veins popping out the head again. The mouth is open, so good detail there. Everything looks great. And last but not least, we all seen this head is when he shoots out the egg, and yeah, his mouth is super wide open. And the antennas are flown back already, but you can of course put it forward if you want. You don't have to have it flown back. They do come off, but you can just stick it right back in there and you're good to go. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is a rice cooker. So we get one of these, and this is of course for the Mafuba. So whenever they do the evil containment, This is where Roshi tries to put King Piccolo into, because you just need to have a container or a bottle of some sort to contain the evil energy when you do that technique. So that's cool that they included that. Then of course we get the egg that he spits out, and then we get this little effect piece, which I think is for the egg, so that you can have it like hitting the ground. That's how I mean, also you can stand up the egg too, so it acts like a stand or a base, but they made it into an effect. It looks like, it's like a little impact when it hits the ground, which is pretty cool of them. It does have a peg hole where you can put it on a stand, but it does not come with a stand, unfortunately. So you guys did see the hands that were on the figure. They were a pair of fists, so now we also get the option to put grabbing hands here. So you can pose these where he's going to grab somebody. Then we got wide open hands, so the fingers are spread apart. It's like he's shooting a ki blast or an energy blast. Then we get a right hand that is a pointing finger, so only the right hand does that. And then a right hand with the all the fingers straight, like a karate chop posing hand. Only the right hand as well. And then lastly we get the 1-star Dragon Ball. So that's cool. I think this might be the last one that we need for all 7. I kind of lost track, so help me out. I should be on top of that, but yeah, I kind of lost track at this point. But I think we might have all 7. If not, we're close to it, maybe like 6. And just a quick backstory on King Piccolo, just in case you're new to Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super, you're not familiar with this version of Piccolo, if you're getting confused with the Piccolo that we know and love today. They're actually the same and different at the same time. So King Piccolo is actually the evil counterpart of Kami. You guys know Kami, the guardian of the earth, which later becomes Dende once Kami dies. But the guardian of the earth was mainly Kami for the most part until Dende took over. At one point, Kami and King Piccolo were one entity, and they split apart. So the good half was Kami, and the bad half was, or the evil half is King Piccolo here. So this is why King Piccolo and Kami look so similar, of course. So fast forward a bit, King Piccolo uses the ability birthing an egg, and this is just him reincarnating himself to the Piccolo that we know today. So that's how our Piccolo, our Dragon Ball Z Saga and Super good guy Piccolo was born. Is actually a reincarnated version of King Piccolo. So when it comes to the articulation of King Piccolo, he has plenty of it. We have the head going left and right. It'll go up. It's on a ball joint there, so it's going to go up and down just fine. The neck is a separate piece too, so it does help it move around, but it's not too crazy. It's, for the most part, stationary, but it is a separate piece, so you can kind of see some movement on that neck a little bit, but it's not it's not crazy at all. The arms are going to go forward and back, in and out here just fine. Also, I did notice that the hinge is actually green, so that might disappoint some people that don't like that breakage and seeing that random green there. So should it have been pink? Maybe. I don't know how that would have looked, but yeah, that's how it looks right there. So not the best look, but it's not horrible. I can live with it. You can see here we got a nice butterfly joint. We have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, swivel at the wrist with a hinge. The diaphragm joint swivels left and right. It's very stiff though, so it doesn't move too much. It does go forward nicely, so it does leave that gap in the back, and you can bend it back too. This piece is not removable. It was like a little rumor, or people were speculating that that was removable and there's going to be a big old hole in his chest, but no, that's not a thing. We have a waist swivel, and it does go forward a little bit on the waist, and then we have the new groin articulation, so he's going to kick forward and back, go in and out. There's your new articulation and groin, which isn't really so new anymore. It's been out for a couple years. We have a thigh swivel that is a little stuck, but there it goes. Double jointed knees, and then we have an ankle that hinges forward and back. We get a little rocker there and a swivel. Then we get a toe hinge at the foot. So now we're going to get him next to some other figures just to get a sense of his scale and height. Next to some other just figures in the line of just Bandai Tamashii SH Figuarts Dragon Ball. So we have Majin Buu, which was a pretty tall figure. And you can see he's actually taller than this King Piccolo. And he stands just a little bit, a little bit higher. If you're not counting the tail on his head, I don't know what to call that thing, but if you're just counting the head itself, it's a little higher than Piccolo's head here. Then we'll throw in our recently released Broly, base form from Dragon Ball Super, so he stands actually around the same height as this Piccolo, maybe a little shorter. And then the much bigger Broly, we have the full power Broly, so he definitely does stand taller. From just his head alone, his forehead, it's a little bit taller than King Piccolo, but his hair, of course, it's out of frame, so definitely is taller completely. Alright, and of course we got to compare him next to our Piccolo figure. So this was actually the first release ever in the Dragon Ball line, the one that started it all. It wasn't even Goku, so a fun fact there, it was Piccolo. And this is actually the SDCC exclusive Piccolo, so it wasn't technically this Piccolo, but it's the same thing, it's just repainted, and it'd be the same height. But so you can just see how much bigger King Piccolo is. Just the arms, the proportions, the scale completely, the legs are thicker, the feet are bigger completely. It's just a bigger figure. I don't know if this is accurate in terms of King Piccolo, the character in the anime, and Piccolo Jr., you can call him Piccolo Jr., in the anime as well. If they were to be next to each other, standing next to each other, would it be like this? I don't know if the scale was like that, but from what I know, that Bandai Tamashii is scaling the Dragon Ball figures with the Dragon Ball figures and not the Z figures. And there he is next to Master Roshi, so I think that looks pretty good. Next to Bulma, looking very tiny, but I think that looks good. She's a small figure, small character. And next to Kid Krillin from Dragon Ball. And then of course we have Kid Goku from Dragon Ball. This is actually the event exclusive from this year. So he's wearing the blue gi, but it is the same body as Krillin, just a taller head because of the hair. And I think that looks good too in terms of scale. Here's Fat Majin Buu just for the heck of it. You can see there. Next to a Mezco 112 collective, this is Gomez, Stealth Gomez to be more specific. And that's how he stands next to him. So these scale a little bit taller than your average 6-inch. I think they're more 7-inch figures, so he's closer to the height of Piccolo. Here's the more recent release of the Arts Remix SH Figuarts Pokemon line. We have the, re-release of Blastoise. And yeah, I still believe Blastoise needs to be bigger for sure for the Pokemon line. But anyways, this is how he looks next to Piccolo. Here's the more recent release of the Arts Remix SH Figuarts Pokemon line. We have the, re-release of Blastoise. And yeah, I still believe Blastoise needs to be bigger for sure for the Pokemon line. But anyways, this is how he looks next to Piccolo. And next to a Hasbro Star Wars Boba Fett. And that's it. That's going to do it for my review of the SH Figuarts Bandai Tamashii Nations Dragon Ball series King Piccolo, or Demon King Daimaoh. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'll just stick to King Piccolo because that's the way I know him. And this is definitely a great addition to our Dragon Ball series of SH Figuarts. I hope Bandai keeps them coming. They have just been on a roll for the past 2 years, just really pumping out some great figures. I haven't been disappointed in anything, and I'm not being biased either because I love Dragon Ball. I mean, this is literally the dream to be living in a time where we're getting Dragon Ball Z figures of this quality. You know, Dragon Ball Z. You know, just anything Dragon Ball 6-inch scale articulated figures like this. Look at this King Piccolo. It's just very nice and very happy with what they're putting out. So this is no different. Great release. Definitely a figure for those that, you know, like Dragon Ball. Some people are just stick to Dragon Ball Super or to Dragon Ball Z. Might not be for everyone, but for the true Dragon Ball in general, Dragon Ball Z, every saga, every era of Dragon Ball, definitely a great pickup. You gotta get a King Piccolo. There hasn't really been a King Piccolo figure out there made, so definitely this might be the only one out there, or the only good one, because I'm sure there's some Japanese or Chinese figure out there somewhere, but nothing to this quality, that's for sure. Anyways, I don't want to ramble on. I'm gonna cut it off here. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Leave a like if you did. Leave a comment. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already. And as always, have a great day.